Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we're just going to be talking about why real estate development, why I decided to go into this field, how I will expand my vision on this field, and just why I decided to, venture into this field and ultimately decide to start a firm here. So, real estate development, where do we start? I have 5 different reasons as to why I chose real estate development. And first, I want to start off with a more personal one. During the GFC, which was back in 2008, 2009, the Great Financial Crisis, the housing crisis as you may call it, when everyone lost their homes. So back in 2008, my family, we lost our home, unfortunately. We couldn't pay, and then we had to move after that. So we were moving like 3 times, I believe. We moved to an apartment, and then we moved back to another home, which eventually it was the home that we found now. So after that event, my dad just told me to start like looking into real estate, what it is, like what caused that, just like the history behind it. And then fortunately now we're in a position where we're never going to have another GFC just because of the way the banks are set up and everything with mortgages. So that is really, really good news. Even though there are going to be, obviously, like right now, like the market's kind of tanking, but there are going to be highs and lows in the real estate market in general. But we're most likely never going to have another GFC in the residential case. So that is really good news. And ever since that GFC happened, I've been researching more into real estate. So I would say that's the #1 reason as to why I chose to go into the real estate field, and more specifically into development itself. The second reason is because my family in Mexico, they do a lot of construction. One of my cousins right now, he's actually building one of his own homes. So that is really, really good, and he inspires me a lot. The fact that he's able to, he's essentially the developer himself. He's talking to a lot of architects. He's working on the project himself too. It's a small residential home, so it's really, really good. He inspires me a lot, and that's another reason. My family in Mexico, they're a big inspiration to me. They do a lot of like field work and stuff, and my dad also has some background in the construction industry, landscaping and all that. So all those industries, they do combine into development itself. So that's another reason. That is my second reason. My third reason as to why I chose to dive into real estate development, I'm saving the best reason for last, but the second reason is because I want to give back to the community. Real estate development, there's different types. You could do industrial development, anything residential. You could do ADU development, which is something that I ventured into actually. ADU development is really cool, especially here in LA with all the new ADU laws that are being passed, and like it's really, really good with like SB 9 and SB 10 incentives, which they all promote housing, especially due to the fact that in the US, in California, we're short or it might be LA, we're short 500,000 units, so it's crazy. But there's ADU development. There's obviously all the different asset classes like retail, mixed use development, anything, urban infill, all that good stuff. So, but I particularly like residential development, the remodeling industry, and affordable housing development, because those help people find homes. That is what I like to do. Because I don't want people to experience what I experienced back in 2008 and 2009. When you're in that position, that sucks. It really sucks. You're like, oh shoot, like how am I going to find a home and everything like that. So I really like all the affordable housing developers, especially like Prime Store Development. Who's the CEO? Arturo Snyder. He's a really, really big guy, but big inspiration to me. All those guys that they promote affordable housing, those guys they're beasts. Even though affordable housing is not easy because all the tax incentives and everything that goes into that. So I have big respect to those guys, and I really, really want to venture into that field once we get a lot more capital. So that is something that really interests me, Section 8 housing and everything like that. So that is another reason. And I would say the fourth reason that I really like development is because of how complex it is. Real estate development in and of itself is one of the hardest things in the entire planet to do. Just the overall process of it, it's extremely hard. You need to be really, really interdisciplinary if you want to be successful in the field. It is not easy at all. You need a developer itself. He's the one who's at the top of the totem pole, and everyone looks up to him. It's not easy because when you're a developer, you need to gather a team to make a project come to life. Let me talk further about this. So let's say someone wants to build, industrial is relatively easy. Let's say someone wants to build like a condo, like a luxury apartment complex. That is one of the most difficult ones to build, just because the cost of capital is really high. But it's extremely hard to build that because you need to find the right architects, you need to find the right GCs who have the right subs so they could all work together. Then you need to obviously make sure that your project gets approved with the city planners and everything. Once you do that, you find your soils engineers, your civil engineers, mechanical, all the different engineers, everything. And then once you find those, then you need to go to the bank, find your lenders, find your mortgage brokers, and then you go find your regular brokers once your project is finished. And then you have to make sure that the neighborhood community is pleased with your project. So that's why it is extremely hard. And as a developer yourself, you're responsible for everything. If the project goes south, if something in the process doesn't go right, let's say like in the entitlement phase, it takes longer than anticipated, what does that mean? That means that you're going to be paying more money out of pocket. But if you already have a loan, then how are you going to get more money? It doesn't make any sense. That's why in your pro forma and everything, you need to have a lot of contingency plans and everything, just to make sure in case one aspect of the development process doesn't go your way, you're like, oh shoot, you know, how do we account for this? How do we account for this? Because in development, there's always risks. In every single case, whether it be like entitlement risks, just like even the feasibility studies, if those don't go well, then your entire project is not going to work out. You need to make sure that your back of the envelope strategy first works out, and then you're able to proceed. But let's say once the entitlements do go through and check, then you begin the construction process and everything. And there could be a lot of risk with that, especially now due to the fact that in construction, there's a labor shortage, especially in LA. So it's like, shoot, how do we find more people? And how do we just get the project to be completed, you know, under the timeline? So that's why we need project managers too, and it's extremely hard to coordinate everything. So, and then in terms of like the project build out and marketing and just the lease out period, you know, assuming like a 4-month lease up for industrial projects, but for any other asset class it can vary. That's why it's extremely hard, unless you go into luxury homes, which may pre-sell. But that's why it's extremely hard, and as a developer, you're the one responsible for everything. And people are like, shoot, why do you want to like have that stress on your back and everything? But you know, I myself, I like being responsible for a lot of different things. You know, I like being a leader, and as I said, like I really want to give back to the community and everything. So that's why I really like development. It's really fun. It's really, really fun. Once, like, getting to talk to all the different people, just everyone in general. It's like an entire team coming together to build an entire project that benefits the community. That is something really, really fun and something that excites me. Because not only are you getting money and helping the community, but you're also doing something that like you're gonna get respect for it. And then you can say and go out, you could tell anyone. You could tell your spouse, you could tell your mother, your father, like, yeah, I built that. And now people get to live in that. So that's something that really excites me. And the last reason as to why I like development is because it is really, really creative. To be a developer, you need to be a creative person. You need to think outside the box a lot. You need to, you know, just be strong. You know, in case something doesn't go your way, like, oh shoot, how do we go about this? How do we talk to this person? Like, let's say one of the subcontractors left, or one of the GCs got fired, then what do? You need to go find someone else. But that's why real estate development, or just real estate in general, life in general, business in general, is all relationships. It's all built on relationships, how you can help someone out, how you can like just foster those relationships to build further partnerships and stuff like that. So yeah, real estate development is very, very creative. I am a very creative person. I think outside the box a lot. Like, how do we solve this situation? How do we do this? How do we do this? You know, how do we get this type of money? Creative financing, everything goes into play. So that's why real estate development, it's really, really creative. There's so much different things that you could do. You could even do fix and flips, which that's how most people start off, which is what I will be doing to start off. So I'm really, really excited for this journey, and I do hope that each and every one of you guys just pursues your passion. You know, real estate development is one of my biggest passions, and I really like it. So yeah, basically that's it for this video, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Just a brief overview of why I chose the real estate development field, and I hope to venture into, you know, just different businesses afterwards, and hopefully establish, you know, just Zeus. So Thank you guys for watching this video, and just keep on pushing every single day. God willing, primeramente Dios.